Hey everyone, welcome back to another review. Today we're going to be going over the Build Fighters Try High Grade R-GYAGYA. Oh hell, who knows? Let's just get into the kit, alright? Well, now par for the course, we'll get through the accessories here to get first. And see here, it comes with a fairly small sheet of stickers. There's quite a few little ones here, but the placement on them is actually pretty nice and they don't look bad at all. So if you're a straight builder or anything, I wouldn't worry too much about this. We'll go through the placement of them when we get to articulation and everything. Now for his main weapons, we have a couple of beam rapiers here. Pretty simple in design, but the fun part about these is you also have this, which you can kind of make a lance spear thing sort of deal, which is pretty cool. So I'll show you that real quick. One of them just simply snaps into the handguard there. And this one you'll remove the, well, if I'm supposed to remove, there we go, daggum, that was tight. The hilt there, and it'll simply attach onto there like that. And you'll see more of this in poses as it hearing it towards the end. But personally, I think this is actually pretty interesting weapon. I like it. It looks great on the kid as well. So there's that, and this thing does come with plenty of green effect parts, which we'll get more into. A lot of these, like this, fit into the shield around it. There's 8 of these, 4 for each shield. And you also have another one for another beam saber, which mine's a little crooked here, but no big deal. But you can pull this out, and when this is kept in the hilt, you have this little piece here, which will let it snap in there. So you don't have to worry about that big old thing, but all you do is pull that off. Of course, make sure you don't lose that little tiny piece. And this simply just slots in like so. And then you have this big old beam sword. The beams, the effect parts are rather plain, but for the kit they do the job and they look pretty good. They're pretty clean looking. And there are some other parts that come with this, and then this is my fault. I don't know what I've done with them for the life of me. But when it comes to the shields, they can detach from these little arms they're on, and you can place them. See, I'm going to show you right here how this looks. These little pieces right here, and you can attach a shield to them, and you can put them on the ends of his forearms and everything. Let's see if I got a picture here that I can show you this. And he's able to attach them on like so towards the front and use them. And you can also put one of the beam saber effects from the rapiers into the center part of the shield there. So I don't know for the life of me what I've done with those parts. Hopefully I'll find them here before long. But sorry about that. Now before we get on to articulation, I want to give you a quick size comparison here. As you can see, the Beyond Global is quite a bit shorter than the guy. Yeah, I'm not going to try that name again. And then the master grade here is the Origin, and it's still taller than him, but he's getting pretty close, especially with the shields and the crest there on his head. But yeah, I want to give you a quick size comparison so you know what you're kind of dealing with on this kit before we get into the articulation. Alright, now we'll get into some detail in the articulation of the kit here. Now, of course, typical, you got the polycap neck there, so you got a little chicken neck there. And actually, let's pull that off real quick. As you see here, there's some pretty nice detail up underneath the head here. So that's pretty nice little bit of piping and everything underneath there. Now the worst offender when it comes to stickers as well on this is, well, there's this one here right across the crest, but that one's pretty simple. That one's not a big deal. Is this one right here in the head. That's one black sticker that crosses across the face there, and then it's a little pink one there for the mono eye. This is the worst bit of the stickers on this kit. I'll pop that back on there, and now for the rest of the articulation here, these shields have quite a bit, as you can see here. The whole arm comes out. They can pivot back and forth, rotate there on the end, hinge there and a hinge there, and they also pivot here at the shoulders. So you can get these in just about any position you might want these in. So you won't have any trouble with that. Then of course the shoulder armor does move independently of the arms, and putting that shoulder armor up, that's about, you can't get the arms up too much to the side, not even 90 degrees, but it's really not bad for the most part. If you go too far, well, maybe a little bit further there, and about right there before that polycap starts to get ready to pop out on you. And on the back of the shoulder armor here, you have these Gatling guns up underneath this bit, but they don't swing forward, which I thought was odd. They only swing back. And I'm sure we can figure out some poses with these. I'll see when we get to the end here. Now, of course, you have the rotation at the top of the arm. Full 90-degree bend, or full double bend at the elbow there. Not quite all the way, but that's more than what you'll need and want. There is a little bit of a seam line, if you can see right in there, and then right there. That one kind of looks a little bit like a panel line, but this piece right here is a separate piece that covers up all the seam line there. And the same for the back. This piece snaps on and covers up the seam line that you would see through there. So that's pretty nice. They've hit a lot of seam lines, and speaking of which, there went his face. Yeah, forget that. The worst seam line, I believe, is this one right here across the shoulders, of course. That's a pretty typical one on high grades. That's to be expected, really. But the arm, they're hidden pretty well. Now, when it comes to the ab crunch here, it's got a bit of a hinge there at the top, right underneath the chest area. So, right there underneath the chest area, you get a pretty decent hinge there for the ab crunch. That's not bad at all. Then, of course, the front skirt. They come together, of course, attached as usual, but you can snip them and they move independently. Oh, and here's another set of stickers here. Got these two little black ones. There's two little black ones right up underneath in here. And there's one here in the crotch. And while it's on my mind, the other two stickers are one each on the knees here. But other than that, I think that's all the stickers, and they're really not too bad. They all are kind of recessed, so they fit in there pretty well. And also, if you want to, you could easily just panel line that or something like that and fill that in, because they're all just black stickers. Now, for the back here, back armor does not move. You have a little thruster bell up in here for some detail, separate piece there. None of this back here moves, only these, which we already went over. And as for the legs here, now, the side skirt armor does move up and down, and that could pivot a little bit, not much, not really enough to really count for anything. Now for the leg, you actually get a pretty good parallel to the ground. That's not too bad. Knee bend. You get a double knee bend, but it doesn't bend up underneath there. It could go a lot further. That's a little disappointing, but more than what you could probably need for some pretty decent poses. And of course, with that back skirt armor, it's pretty large and hangs down quite a ways. It's not going to go too terribly far back that way. And for the foot, you get pretty good side to side. About there up, and then down. Down's not too bad. The ups, it's alright, I guess. It could be better. And like underneath the head, there's these nice little detail pieces up underneath here and there all over this kit. You got the little thruster bells and some piping underneath there if you want to do some detail painting, some different color. And for the other seam lines on this kit, the ones here on the legs are pretty much made into panel lines. So right in through there it looks more like a panel line, except for up here at the top. They didn't quite make that so much as a panel line look. It's more, you might have to fill that in if you want. If not small enough, I may not, really worry about it too much. And then, of course, here on the scabbard, this is two pieces halved together. So, of course, there's a seam line that runs all the way around there, but that's a pretty simple one to get rid of. I wouldn't worry too much about that one. But all in all, if I want to decapitate this poor fella here, I do like this kit. It's not too bad on articulation. I did have somebody say something on my Twitter page about it when I posted about him. They said the polycaps are bad, but on this one, I haven't had any issue with polycaps. Everything's sturdy. Everything holds in. Only time that anything happens is if you're messing with the arms and you go a little too far. Of course, it's going to pop out. That's to be expected. But everything on here is really pretty tight. But let's get some poses up with this guy, and we'll go over some of my last final thoughts on this fella, and you can make your decision whether he's worth it to you or not. Now, for some of my final thoughts on this kit, I usually don't go for the night style sort of kits or anything like that, but for some reason this one just struck me. I don't know where I actually happened across it, and after that I had to find it and see where I can find it at. The bad thing about this is most of the pricing I found this guy at was around $50 sometimes, or even $60 USD, and that was like on eBay and places like that. I happened to get lucky and found it for a decent price for 30. So depending on where you're at and where you might be able to find this at, it might be cheaper, it might be more, who knows. But it's got nice simple detail to it, nice part separation and everything. Of course it has that gold injection for some of the parts that a lot of people don't like. If you paint, that's not a big deal, and really, I mean, it doesn't look bad on this kit. I've seen some kits with the gold injection looks a whole lot worse, so if you don't paint, I wouldn't worry about that either. Stickers are very minimal on this. Like I was saying, it's got some nice little simple detail, but it's also got enough blank canvas that if you like to custom yours and add detail to it, you got plenty of space to work with. There are some other little parts you might want to detail, like the thrusters and stuff on the back of the legs and everything. They're pretty bland. They're all one color. You can simply get little Gundam marker or paint marker or something like that and paint them in, or, of course, airbrush or hand paint. But all in all, I like it. It's a pretty good sized kit. The shields on the shoulders, I think, might have been what really sold it for me. Just the silhouette of them and the shields on the shoulders, being able to pivot them and position them in so many ways. And then along with all the effects parts that comes with it, and plus that lance, I love that weapon on this guy. I think that's one of the coolest, hand-to-hand weapons I've seen in a while. But all in all, I do love this kit. It's a great kit. It's sturdy. It's a good size, high grade. If you can find it for a decent price, I'd recommend picking it up. Anyways, guys, thanks for joining me for another review. Y'all take it easy, and I'll see y'all later.